Hey y'all, welcome to Unboxing Discovery by G. My name is Gina and I have no co-host today because I am in my car. My phone is propped up on its little thingamahoochie over here and I am going to be driving because it is road trip day. Yes, that's right, road trip day with beautiful views. Oh, how do I flip you? Lots of long, stretchy, hilly roads, beautiful fall trees. I'm going to film a little bit extra of that for you. I don't know if I'll put it in shorts or different videos or whatnot, but you will be seeing some of that because I thought it would be fun to have a little story time while I'm road tripping. So, let me turn you back around. And you get the fun of watching me drive and seeing my packages that I'm bringing to my mom's so I can film and I guess out the back view. Maybe I should move me just a little. I don't know. Okay, so story time. I thought a lot about what stories to tell y'all while I'm driving, and I have landed on a few. So I may make a few videos out of this. Story time with G. So, there's one I want to tell you about that, oh, it was so cute. It was my kid was little, so gosh, it was probably 20 years ago. And, you know, we lived with my mom and dad when they had the smaller farm, the 10-acre farm where I grew up. Because they didn't always have this 143-acre farm. They actually bought that while I was pregnant with my son. So, anyway, we had this 10-acre farm. We had the cows, the whole nine, and mom raised goats. She actually made the paper once too. Anyway, so we had all of these. They're the fainting goats. If you give them a startle, their back legs freeze up and they will fall over. Now, some of them have more of that fainting gene than others, and you would have to jump into the ditch or pond or lake or whatever and pull them out, or they would drown because they are literally paralyzed when they get too scared. Ooh, I gotta shake. Look at that view. Is that not gorgeous? This is my favorite. This is my favorite. I'm going to slow down so you can just soak in all those beautiful fall trees. Look, you can see all the pines up on the top of the hill, and then all the other trees that are changing colors. By far, one of my favorite views on this road that I have traveled many, many times. It takes me about 4 hours to get to my mom and dad's farm now from where I live to where they live. And it's a long drive, and I spend a lot of time on this road, but I've drove it many, many times. Look how beautiful. So pretty. I'm not going to be turning the camera around right now. I got too many cars around me. So just bear with me. I'll cut this out if I need to. But it's still so pretty. So pretty. Alright, so my mom raised goats, and like I said, one time one of my dogs fell in that ditch. We had this big ditch. It cut our property in half, and there was this really deep spot, and there was this huge culvert, and we had like the house on one side of the culvert, on the other side you had all the barns, stables, things like that. And one time one of my mom's favorite dogs fell in and was drowning, couldn't swim. So my mom jumped in to save it, didn't realize that it was too deep for her. Mom can't swim. She was drowning. Dad had to jump in and save them both. So yay for Hero Daddy. He was probably tall enough that he could stand up in it, but Mom couldn't. So fun little story there. But back to the goats. So my son, he's like, a toddler. 3 years old, and he's out there helping my mom feed all this herd of goats, probably at least a dozen of them out there. And I have a clip, an old video clip of him doing this. He had this pink plastic, it was like it looked like a stroller, a baby stroller, and it was just pink and plastic. Well, he would put the corn in that and push it out for the goats to eat out of. Well, some of the goats had horns, and it's got this round handle. Well, they were all sticking their head in there eating, and he's just, ah! Well, one of them gets it up on their head and is taking off with this thing on their head. And my son is like, ah! You know, it was so funny. He just thought it was the craziest thing in the world that that thing got up on one of those goats. Those goats, y'all, I want goats so bad because I was raised with them. I love them. I know they smell horrible, especially the males, and I know they're noisy and they get into everything and they tear up everything, but I want them so bad. We had one that used to jump through the gate. You know, those big metal gates, like it's that far apart. And then it has the one line. They're kind of like an aluminum gate. Well, it would jump through that side so that it could come and get in the barn when we were opening the door to go in the barn. Well, it was right beside this humongous head catch. If you're not from the South, you might not know what the head catch is, but it's longer than a horse or a cow, so that you can run them through a lane, run them into the head catch, and then you squeeze something around their neck. It's not tight, but it's just enough to hold their head in so that they can have their vet appointments, get their shots, you know, be milked, have babies, whatever they need to do in that head catch. So, you know, we did a lot of different stuff with the head catch. Well, I had a Greenbroke horse. Greenbroke horse means you can ride it, but it might buck you off. It's just kind of halfway broken. So I had this Greenbroke horse and I wanted to ride. Well, Mom and Dad were not home, so I wasn't allowed to ride when they were not there. And I was a teenager. I was still in, you know, high school probably at the time, probably 9th or 10th grade. And so I had taken the horse and put the horse, tied it to the head catch, halter, lead rope, and I was brushing. And I had the phone in my hand. You know, this is back in the day when we had landlines and those cordless phones. I had that in my hand because I always kept something with me just in case. And I had the brush. Well, that goat jumped through that fence and it made this loud clankety clank noise. It scared the horse. The horse went into panic mode and started pulling. It tipped that big metal head catch over. I fall backwards because this big metal head catch is coming towards me and the horse. And I look up, I'm on the ground, on my butt. I look up and the horse is like this, like its belly's this far from the ground, pushing back as far as it can, headed straight towards me. If that halter, if that lead had not held, the horse would have trampled me. And so here I am, I'm like stunned, shocked. What do? I don't even know how I had the wherewithal to do this, but I got up, I went to the horse, I had to calm the horse down enough to get her standing back up, put her head down to where I could get that clip off of her halter, because she was just pulling the head catch across the ground as, you know, as much as she could, and it was too heavy for her to pull that way. And so I had to get it unhooked, and then I just let her go. And of course she took off down the pasture because she was scared to death, all because of that silly goat. I will never in my life forget the sight. And it's almost like I can see it from an out-of-body experience. I can see myself on the ground in this horse's butt headed towards me with all the muscle the horse can. But yeah, it was craziness. Crazy farm shenanigans. Maybe this video should be called Crazy Farm Shenanigans. But yeah, that's some of my crazy farm growing up stories from me and my son. I'm going to ask him if he's okay with me putting that video on here, if I can find it in all of my files. And hopefully he'll let me put it in and I can, you know, be playing the video while I'm talking, instead of y'all just watching me sitting in a car and not even being able to look at you. But, oh my goodness. Oh, we're at the sod farm. So here's the sod farm on each side. I know I've kind of missed it because I didn't get turned around in time. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all have a wonderful day and God bless.